All right, good morning, good evening, whatever time zone that you are in. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Extraordinary Men. You guys should know me by now. Phil Jones, Mike Jones, however you know me personally or professionally. I am the host of the Extraordinary Men podcast, and introducing my panel today, we have to my immediate right.
Right.
You had to think about that.
Well, it's different.
Yeah.
It's different. Like I probably look different on his screen. What's going
Yeah,
on?
like when we positioned, it might be different on everybody's screen. But go ahead and
Right.
introduce yourself.
Michael Midas Merritt, owner of Nerdy Nerds, IT contract fulfillment company. Also owner of nerdyshirty.com. And also make sure you check out the Black Pill Reactions channel.
Kadeem Bourne, artist, business owner. Y'all should know the rest by now.
First and foremost, I like the modesty. I like the modesty. Artist, visionary, clothing designer, embroidery entrepreneur, transportation entrepreneur. Let's not like you see. I don't like these type of people who they got
Creator
so
of the
many
logo.
different.
Like we're not gonna play that.
Yeah, like the logo was actually designed by him. That logo that y'all see on the YouTube and the one that you see over here in the corner, he designed that. So no, like we're not gonna undersell you. That we gonna celebrate you up in here.
That's
I
correct.
appreciate that. You know what I'm saying?
No homo. You ain't got to toot your own horn. We'll toot it for you. Pause. Um,
Shout out.
in this arena, man, like 2023 has been starting off real interesting, man. It's like I've been in the crossroads of having a lot of different decisions to make. Um, Lease renewal, which ain't happening. Obviously, just trying to piece things together. And I don't necessarily know how everybody else beginning of the year start off, but the beginning of my years always start off real hectic. And a lot of decisions to make, and you don't have a whole lot of time to make them. I don't necessarily know about you guys, but it's like for me, the 2023 has probably started off the most interesting of any year, just because of the fact that I'm caught between so many different crossroads. It's like career wise, school wise, I have so many things that are locked into place that I can't afford to stray away from. I'll tell you like this. I think that the benefits of what this year brings are probably going to be the greatest level of benefits that I'm ever going to receive in one single year, at least year to date. And by the way, a real one's birthday is in 2 days. I can't stress that enough.
Shout out to that.
I will be 30. I will be 37. Make sure you guys tap into the Facebook and tell me happy birthday. I make enough money. I
Yes,
will not
sir.
do the ghetto thing and post my cash app. But how was you guys 2023
What's
going
going
so
on,
far?
Diggs?
Diggs, good afternoon, good evening.
What's going on,
Let me
man?
post up the chat. I apologize. Should have had that up already.
What you said,
So
Mel?
anybody chime in? 2023 so far. What are from the early indicators? What is 2023 telling y'all so far about y'all year?
It's kind of telling me the same thing with you. I'm at a crossroad as well, especially with another side of my business, another business. I'm at a point where I have to accept something that I can't change business wise. And sitting with that has been driving me insane on a daily because you make a decision in business and you think you're going to make a particular amount of money with something you invest in, and that is not how it turns out. And now you have to figure out how to, I wouldn't say finesse your way out of it, but like I said it to you, I think it was that I got to take a creative approach to kind of fix the decision. But other than that, it's like I'm at a crossroad with my apartment, with my businesses, and just trying to make the better decisions to catapult me forward because I'm at that stage where now I can fully analyze my decisions now, and every move from here is just going to propel me forward. So These 17 days has been very very interesting to say the least.
What about you, Midas? How's your first 17? How's your first 17 days in?
Well, for me, for nerdy nerds, it's always
The pinky.
slow in the first quarter. All businesses have spent out all the money that they need to spend to try to meet the tax deadlines and try to dish out and get a lot of work done and everything. So around that whole first quarter, really slow. It doesn't pick back up until the second quarter. Uh, I see the same thing happening. Looking to acquire more business at the same time. I have a decision to make. I have been, uh, I guess, propositioned to say, looking to sell Nerdy Nerds. I'm not sure if I'm fully going to go through with it or not. I don't know yet. Um, but the numbers do look good. So I'm kind of, me and the wife is we have yet to have that talk because I just held this conversation yesterday. So it's right at the beginning of this conversation as to what I'm going to do or where I'm going to go with this proposition to sell. So we'll see.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah,
I like that. I mean, what I like about that is that you've been working diligently since for about a good 11, 12 years on building this brand that you have. And just to be in a position of where the brand identity alone, along with the work and quality that you've been putting into the brand, has put you into a position where somebody's willing to make you an offer for your company.
yeah,
I think that's super dope. And anybody who don't think that that's dope, I mean,
That's fire.
something
That's
I
the
created that didn't exist before I started.
yeah. It does
Somebody,
feel good. It does feel good, and like I said, I'm topsy turvy about it because, to your point, I do have a little bit over a decade in this. Blood, sweat, and tears. Lost sleep. Uh, Went broke. Got it back. Went broke again. Got it back again. Uh, a lot of miles, a lot of hours. So it's definitely have been a journey up to this point, and I am actually kind of very intrigued that someone really sees an opportunity with my business. Now, there has been, of course, conversations about dissolving. I don't think that's their intentions. I think that they do plan on continuing to push the brand and take it where it can go. But like I said, I'm very excited about it.
let me ask you this: do you have an opportunity to still maintain a position on the board for the company
I was
in
just
the
about
event that you sell?
So yeah, so I am looking at a six-figure per year income to pretty much still like be the brain per se.
So you'll
To
still be the face, so to speak, but you just won't
base,
be
yeah.
the
So
owner.
they because I know everybody. I know all the customers. I know all the contracts. I know all the contractors. I know everything. So they're still looking for me to pretty much man the ship, be the captain. Uh, but not only give me a check, but give me a salary on top of the check. So it's pretty nice.
Let me ask you this, and Kadeem, you might be on the same page with this, but I just want to know from your perspective. If I'm already doing the numbers, then why would I sell my company to take a salary? Is it because of the fact that maybe they might have bigger connections to actually grow the business even bigger? And if that's the case, then why not do a partnership split 50-50 rather than giving up full ownership of the company?
You asking that to me, right?
Yeah, man. I'm just saying,
Oh,
Kadeem was probably going to ask that question because I know we think alike in that department. But I was just throwing it out there first.
okay. So the biggest things about it is I'm free of all of the liabilities.
Mm.
So any tech that goes to a job and let's say that they screw up the electrical or they damage a really important part that is really needed and the job can't even get done without that part. I wash my hands of all that. I'm pretty much just making sure that the jobs get scheduled, uh manning the data. I'll still be manning the day to day and all that, but as far as liability and insurance and all that, it's off me.
So no more overhead.
No more overhead.
Okay, you just get to collect now and
I
kind of
just I
run.
just I just collect and I show up a couple hours here and there, make sure all the holes in the boat get patched and it stays floating, and I go home. I'm done. So it is pretty nice,
And your money is guaranteed,
and the money's
regardless
guaranteed.
of outcome.
And the money's guaranteed, and you kind of already answered the second part of that question. Yes, they have a bigger connection. They have a bigger pool of customers that they can now promote the services to because their company does not do what I do. And so they're looking to get into this industry and into this market. So the best way to do that is acquisition. Why start from scratch when you can just acquire and they already have the tech base and they already have the customer base? Like, why would you start from scratch?
It's
Especially
just like how we was talking, like how we was talking about your favorite statement about, why reinvent the wheel? Somebody already invented it. Just because there's different variations of the wheel, the same round figure is exactly what it is. It
is
doesn't
exactly
change.
what it is. It doesn't change. So, and I see that's what's happening here. And I think what has me more excited about it is that there's no for as far as the conversation thus far, there's no means of actually dissolving the name. So my name will live.
That's dope.
Would you put that in the contract
Yes.
that over a said period of time that the name has to maintain?
Yes. Hmm.
Would you actually like? Would you even consider asking for a royalty, even if it's like a 1% royalty, just to make sure that your children have something that's guaranteed to them?
Absolutely. I'm, I'm,
So they
I'm
get money.
already, I'm already, yeah, absolutely.
I'm giving legal advice, baby. Legal advice, non-official.
Not unofficial advice, but
And
yeah,
the
I'm already in the works of setting a 1% stake and all of that. So yeah, I'm already working on it.
and what about the I know you mentioned the brand, like the brand you sell like apparel and t-shirts and stuff. Is that a part of the actual Nerdy Nerds brand, or is that something that you're gonna keep for yourself, or is that a part of the deal that you're gonna broker with them?
Uh, More than likely, it'll probably be roped into the deal. Chances are it is. That's a very rare instance that something like that will happen, and that would be more of like a battle of powerhouses when you're able to pull off a deal like that.
In the music industry, one
Yeah,
of the things that you said what?
I was thinking on the lines of merch and
Yeah, like
art.
in the music industry, like what you like the question you were asking is kind of one of those things because of the fact that musicians don't see themselves as independent contractors.
Right.
And because of the fact that a musician, an artist of any type, their money comes in so many different facets that you yourself are the brand. So everything that's associated to you is like the octopus, but you are the so people who buy into if you're like part of the smoker culture and you do cigarette lighters or rolling papers and stuff like that, that's a part of your brand. So for
Shout out
somebody
to
to buy into your entity or buy into your likeness, all things encompassing, including your YouTube, including your streaming services, including your album sales, whatever is tied into how you make money will be all rolled into that. Now, the thing is the fact that when you look at his situation, Nerdy Nerds is an independent LLC, an independent license, what was the NASA's number?
My NASIS code.
NASIC's code. So it's like everything that's
I'm sorry.
associated with that entity is solidary to any other industry that he's in. So because of the fact that like Nerdy Shirty or any other business that he has, if that business fed into this business and it somehow has something they correlated, maybe you would structure a deal like that. But in most cases, it wouldn't apply. It would be different. It's like if part of his contract fulfillment company included creating clothes for workforce, and he created his own clothes for his workforce, then I'm gonna want a piece of that too.
Right.
It's kind of like a 360 deal.
Yeah. The only people that really get screwed like that are artists because everything that you have is intellectual property.
Yeah.
Like his stuff is intellectual property. Anybody can do contract fulfillment. He just has to be better than the competition.
Right.
There's no such thing as better when it comes down to art. Art is the biggest. It is the biggest money transfer, wealth transfer system known to mankind. Because I could the market will set a price for what he does, and he has to come within that range and within a standard deviation of do you want quality or value?
Right.
If you draw a picture and you say my picture is worth $1 million, as long as somebody's willing to pay $1 million, there is no, well, it has to have this many colors in it, or it has to have this much tangents, or this much circles, or this much snap involved in it, or this much nylon, or this much fabric. Or there's no saying how much of any one thing. There's no standard for how much of anything in the artist realm you have to have in order to charge. That's why Nipsey Hussle was able to charge $100 for a mixtape. You determine the value of your own art, and that's the reason why. So if I see that you have convinced people that your art is more valuable than, say, the latter 90%, I want to buy into you because I want to figure out the secret sauce of why you able to charge what you charge. So I'm buying so that I'm not purchasing you as a product. I'm purchasing your intellectual property and what makes you great in the eyes of the consumers.
Nice.
I know I just said a mouthful. I get it. Marvin, what up, handsome?
What's going on?
How's everything?
Junior.
So you got Junior with you?
Yeah, I'm about to run out to the store until I get in a stable sat still spot. Like 5 minutes, I'm gonna chime in, but I got y'all.
All right, no problem. We'll be here. You know, this is the first time that we've actually had all 4 heads in the same box. Like this is actually, I'm actually excited to see what come out of a situation like this. Like I think that with all personalities combined, we should be able to do a lot. I will say for everybody who is tuning in, anybody who is chiming into this broadcast right now, please make sure to wipe your feet, aka share the broadcast, like it, go to the YouTube link, subscribe to our work. Let us know what you think about it by leaving comments, your concerns. If you want to say like, yo, this is the worst thing I ever seen, don't do that. But you know, show your support and your solidarity with the Extraordinary Man brand, and make sure to take the time. I just posted the link up in the group chat. Make sure that you guys take the time to visit it, check out some of our older work, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and be a part of the Extraordinary Man. Hopefully one day you'll be on the front row and center to be able to express your opinions, thoughts, comments, and concerns live in front of a studio audience. So with that much being said, gentlemen, let me ask y'all something. I was sitting back thinking about something on the ride home earlier today. And I was like, every day that I get off work, one of the things that upsets me the absolute most is the fact that some days I work really, really, really hard. And yesterday was like super slow. I mean, almost like gnawing your, it's just like scratching your eyes because you're trying to stay awake slow. I make the same amount of money. Pros and cons. Midas mentioned something earlier about how right now this is the time of the year to where most business entities are reconciling their books. So they're trying to do their balance sheets, trying to profit loss analysis, trying to verify whether they made or whether they lost, and doing whatever restructuring needs to be done in order to make themselves profitable going into this year, setting their projections for the 2023 fiscal year. And I sat back and I looked at what he said and then my analysis of what it is that I've experienced over the course of the last couple of weeks. Let me ask y'all something. What do you think the pros and cons of a salary versus being competitive for your salary is? I need one pro, one con. If y'all got more than one pro and one con, that's fine. But at least minimum one. What do y'all think pros and cons?
You want one of each from each, like
Minimum
me
of
and
one
Kadeem.
each.
Okay.
Minimum of one on each side.
Okay. So the pro to the salary, especially if it's a good salary, is guarantee. Uh, as long as that company is able to thrive and build and grow, then yes, it's a guarantee. And as long as you do what you're supposed to do your job, it's guaranteed. You know, you get your benefits, possibly company vehicle, gas card, the whole nine. Uh, the cons to that is that even though that you're able to set your own price and find your own customers and things of that nature, that's just it. You have to find your own customers. So the amount of work that you put in is the results that you're going to get out. So if you're not out there working phones, working emails, putting boots to the ground, trying to find, trying to hunt, trying to find where the food is at, you don't eat. Just like that. It's that simple. If you don't have the hunger and the drive to be successful, you're that's not the route for you.
Okay.
Good day.
I give a con on the salary. I think with salaries, if it's not the best salary, then you kind of cap out and you can potentially get worked more than what that salary is actually paying, regardless, and you're still gonna get that same amount of money. Going back to what you said, you'll have a real busy day, and then you could have a slow day. So, I think that's kind of a con of salary, and a pro to being able to set your price is that you really don't have no limitations. Like, you get what you put into it. And for some people go all the way and they get exactly what they put into it. But I think that's the main pro with being a business owner and being able to kind of set your price and keep setting your price and raise it when you see fit as you gain experience. So, tomorrow my price could go up. Next week it could go up again. So
No, I
I
like
think
that.
that I think that statement of yesterday's price is not today's price. That is definitely a real statement when you are working for yourself.
that's
And
a
yesterday's price should not be today's price. And to Dean's point, the more knowledge that you gain, the more experience that you gain, uh, the more, I guess, bigger, the more recognizable that you become. Yeah, your price needs to rise.
facts.
No, I sat here and I thought about it. And as I thought about it, I'm like, yo, I am grossly undervaluing myself and my abilities. So for those who don't know, I'm a 37-year-old college student. Nothing wrong with it. I'll never
Yeah.
be the person to shame it. I actually got a whole show that I got dedicated to what you're waiting for. To be continued on that. But the premise is that it takes time to discover what you want to do. I don't care what nobody tell you, the utopian dream of graduating high school at 18, graduating college by 23 through 26 or whatever the metric is, going to the suburbs, getting a house with 2.5 kids and the white picket fence. That is all bull Scheisenhauer. Let me tell you.
0.5 kids.
Everybody's, you said what?
I said 0.5 kids. What's the 0.5?
The dog. The
Oh,
dog.
okay.
The pets.
Okay.
Because I had to elaborate on that, right? But no,
Yeah,
like the 2 kids and the dog, or the 3 kids, or whatever it is that you opted out for. It's a great metric as far as a focal point for something to strive for. But we all don't have the same playing field that we walking in the door at. We may all have the same opportunities, but we don't have the same starting point. And that's not an excuse. What it is understanding that realities for people are a little bit different. Sometimes some people have it to where they come from a generational situation where my dad was something, my granddad was something. So the path was already laid out for me. Grandfather was in the Air Force. Dad was in the Marines. So I went to the Marines. It was just kind of, we're a military family. That's what we do. Or so and so is a chef, so and so is a chef. So I became a chef because, or so and so is a dentist, so and so is a pharmacist. So I decided I was going to become a pediatrician. It's just kind of like the element was already there. So the path was already predetermined prior to you taking your walk in. Well, some people never actually seen what success looked like. The idea of success was something that was very obscure. It might have been the rapper, it might have been the drug dealer, it might have been anything other than something that had a clear metric of how to obtain success in it. And you have to pry yourself out of a mentality of mediocrity and or a mentality of these lucid dreams that you're going to be the outlier and bank yourself into something that is more tangible. In doing so, I went through my transitions. COVID happened. It sent me through some more transitions. And I came to a realization it was time to go back to school. But I matured enough to know what my strong suits are. What am I good at and what am I not good at? And I think that's a lot of it. A lot of us don't know what we're good at. A lot of us don't even know that our skills are our skills. Some people can talk good. They don't know that their skill set is in customer service. Some people don't know that their skills is handiwork. Some people are technical engineers. Some people don't have a clue how to talk to people, but boy, they can explain to you the ins and outs of how to how to program something. We don't know. A lot of us don't know. A lot of us think that our strong suits is this, but really our strong suits are all the way on the other side. So with that being said, I can tell you guys firsthand that going back to school put me on a path to where I'm now actually pursuing what I'm good at. Taking that full circle, when you guys are looking at earning what you keep, the pros and cons of what the business does, what it doesn't do, looking at the pros and cons of a fixed salary and what it doesn't do. What do you think about the person who owns the company that you get the salary from? Do you ever have an opinion about them when you're a salary person?
sure.
I would say yeah. In terms of what?
Okay, so let's try this out. We all know that I'm gonna use a company like let's use a company like Apple. Who's the head of Apple right now?
I have no idea.
Y'all know how I get down.
I can't think of her name.
Y'all already know how I get down.
Tim Cook.
Tim Cook. I thought I heard somebody say it, but I had to put it on the screen anyway. Hold on. See if I can make it big enough to where other people can see it.
Tim Cook. It's
So
funny
Tim
that
Cook, he preceded Steve Jobs.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What y'all think about the job Tim Cook did at maintaining the brand of Apple? Y'all think he did a good job?
hell of a job.
What you think, Midas?
Yeah, I would say that the direction and the vision that Steve had, I think Tim is hitting the markers flawlessly. Actually, I think he's doing a hell of a job. I mean, the company as of right now, even since he's took it, it's still a Fortune 500, Fortune 500 company. So
I would disagree.
do we got
I
some?
thought I heard somebody say they disagree.
Tim has done a good job making sure. Of course, he has a team. I mean, but he's who we're talking about right now.
He's the final say so before any decision
Exactly.
goes.
So for keeping and we spoke about this loyalty. He's definitely has kept Apple users loyal to the brand. He's definitely has pushed the envelope for producing uh brand new features, whether it be, way better, more top tier cameras, lenses, better gesture features, the M1 chip, like
Beautiful.
there's things that he's, leaps and bounds and trying to keep those that are already in the ecosystem to maintain staying there in the ecosystem. Now, that's not to say that there aren't any flaws or issues or other things that's going on, but as of right now, the good right now is outweighing any possible bad.
We
Yeah.
still talking about that guy, right?
Go
We
for
still
it.
talking about Tim Cook.
Yeah. Nah, I totally disagree. I believe he shitted on that Apple name. It's so far behind of what Steve Jobs was already at. He took them back a couple ways. They're just now getting fucking screens that Samsung had for 5 years now. Like he took the cheap way, which is why a lot of his board didn't agree with a lot of his decisions, because he chose factories and switch over to different shit that was cheaper and ran by worse labor, and with Samsung to give up to do this whole fake wars. It was a lot of fuck shit. Mention that they've been in the red for almost 2 years now. I used to own Apple stock. They still tanked. They haven't gotten back up to $140 a share. And there was no split through COVID. It was his idea to take the chargers out of the fucking boxes. That's like, why the fuck would you sell me a phone but not a charger and say it's because you're gonna... I get a cord but not a block? That's bullshit, bro. He lost more Apple customers than they have lost in the past 10 years in 1 year. That dude ain't did shit, bro. I don't agree with nothing. That man ain't nothing.
Wait.
Hold on. You go ahead.
As an Apple user, and as someone that
Me too. I'm an Apple user. That's my pick.
Could see the brand from me having
You're
a
not
phone.
that pissed. You still using it. So we not
I
going to
think
play
he
that
has
game.
maintained the brand integrity to the following that he does have, because I have not once thought about leaving Apple.
There you go.
I think even as an Apple user, they take the charger out. People will complain about it, but they still gonna buy the next phone that come out. I think Apple has built a cult following in the people that like Apple. And once you go Apple, you really don't. I don't have no intentions to go anywhere. Like, and I think that applies to most of the Apple users in America.
All right, so Apple, first of all, Apple has always been behind the 8 ball when it comes to certain things. And you got to understand that when they do finally drop a feature or whatever is going on that so-called another company already have 5 years, when they drop theirs works perfectly.
Hold on. There's also another part to that.
That's not
chime in on that.
true either.
Wait
till I get back to Senator.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh boy, because I love my brother Marvin, but yeah. Patent law. Anybody who knows anything about a patent, that just because they beat
I was going there,
them
but
to the
never
patent
mind.
does not mean that Apple didn't already have it. It's just they beat them to the patent office. We were talking last week about the what was the last week we talked about the over the weekend about like the non-disclosures and the non-competes and stuff like that. Information still leaks between companies. So when there's certain proprietary like the facial recognition and stuff, both Apple and Samsung had that technology at the same time. It's just Samsung beat them to the patent office. This happens all the time.
The direction I was going in with it in some way, but yeah, what does that? I mean, keep going. I'm trying to hear where you're going.
What I was going to say is that there's a couple of things that I had to fact check. When we talked about all the customers that Apple lost, according to sources, fourth quarter report actually shows Apple went up 8% in 2022.
Yeah, you got to look at what that information is based on. We're talking. If you're talking
based off numbers,
Apple, okay, that's not what it be based on for real. They fudge numbers. If they were gaining customers, then why is there? I'm not confused. If
I'm gonna fudge I'm not gonna
got all the
weak ass 8%.
Yeah, you will if that means it's negative 8%. Sounds a lot better. I don't care about that. The question was integrity that Steve Jobs had. Going into all of this, I was answering the question I was going, but I got cut off, and then I told I was cut. So here, the top product that you felt all the bells and whistles that was the top thing I got in there. He was like, well, let's do just good enough, not upholding the standards and the. That's not what he was doing. He tried to do a good job at keeping money going. Yeah, good job at keeping people quiet. Yeah, sure. Did he do a good job at keeping his products as the best? We're just loyal to Apple. That's all. Shit out. Did he live up to what the question live up to Steve Jobs standards? No. Good job running a company? Sure.
I think he did a good job because he did what a CEO is supposed to do. And he did what any CEO of any company is supposed to do. Your job is to try to find or get with your team and try to find out the best way possible to try to maximize profits. That is the whole entire purpose. That is the whole entire purpose. There is no other purpose.
Okay, well, let me
profit.
explain what CEO is. No, that's a CFO. It's profit. CEO is to keep you the face of a company, to make the company make decisions on revenue based on, but also
CEOs
to
can be
maintain
CFOs. In
there's
most cases,
nothing of
again, they make the final decisions. The CEO
nothing.
makes the final decision. The CFO is gonna come and say, "All right, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this, we can do that," or the board is gonna say, "We can do this, we can do that," and then he's supposed to sit down with all this information to make the final decision. So yes, he is the CFO. He is the
He's
CO. He
not.
is the
They have, but that's the thing, man. It's all Steve Jobs built a company. They had much future. He was working on a patent to that first too. The Apple Smart never dropped. If Steve Jobs was alive, I bet it. So what is he doing differently that Steve Jobs paying? He could have kept the same revenue and all in the boxes. He could have did all of that. To me, it's just bad moves to makes it look bad. But I see it, but their sole job is not to find money. CEOs, it's not a nonprofit kind of sort of.
I didn't say find
Do the
money.
grant right.
I didn't say find money. I said
Maximize
maximize
money,
profit.
whatever.
That don't mean find money. That
Same
could
knows
be
what I'm
that
saying.
could be introducing a new app, introducing a new product, introducing a new subscription service or anything like that. But you know what I'm saying?
There you go.
But that's
Enhancing
what
the
it is.
subscriptions. Yeah, I got that fake hit from COVID, $1 profit. So you know, I don't have charges anymore.
You know, and you also, you know what I'm saying,
I'm really
this is an argument.
salty
This
about
is an argument between a for-profit person and a non-for-profit person. So I mean, I'm never gonna see. I mean, we I'm pretty sure we could find some common ground, but I'm never gonna see.
We already did. You said it earlier, and all of that because your company right out profit. That means that you'll sell it with give up. All you care about is your profit, and that ain't to be a clause that I can keep my name. Yeah, that shows that you care about more than just profit.
We lost you.
No, I have muted. I just said that that just profit. You know.
So basically, that was the equivalent of the mic
that.
drop.
Yeah,
that was the mic
already
drop.
that you care more.
I guess so.
You cruelty. Because you can make $1 million Best Buy right now for $1 million. Whatever they want to do with it, it ain't gonna be yours no more. But your legacy is gonna be unless you. So what you going? Mike, 1 million, you're gonna have to come harder than that better. But everybody not like that. You know what I'm saying? That's all how you want to do it.
So one of the things that I looked up that I thought was a real interesting concept to look into is early on when I was talking about the looking at the very top of the food chain, when you get up and you're going to go do your job as a salaried employee, so to speak. And when I brought Apple up as an example, as much as I love the product and we can go back and forth about everything pertaining to Apple, good, bad, the ugly, whatever. This is how much Tim Cook made last year, and this is what he's projected to make this year. Can everybody see that?
It's small. I think at one time, one of the things that you had placed up on the screen, like how you did the orientation of our screens, it made it bigger.
Oh, there it goes.
That's a little better. Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to get it eventually. But Apple CEO Tim Cook is expected to earn $49 million in 2023, far below his 2022 earnings of $99.4 million, following his recommendation that Apple responded to shareholder feedback. The news comes from Apple's latest filings that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission 5 days ago. So it says here Tim Cook's salary to drop 40% at his request.
At his request.
At his request.
For the shareholders?
For the shareholders.
For the sake of making sure the shareholders are receiving proper dividends, he's going to take a 40% pay cut
He's going to take a pay cut.
to ensure his shareholders get their proper just due.
That's because hey, yeah, we was just talking about giving Flower $1 billion last year. If he cut his entire rate, it's not no hit. It's not going for real. But it sound big to people. You heard Andrew Tate after 7 thing. It doesn't even matter anymore. That's why they say one of the biggest things they do is I taking a salary because I'm noble, rich already. That's why I take a salary. If he was going to hurt a little, I'm one of the people who voted for that. You own stock more, they should drop her. And they just said that was made like $100 million outside of that. I'm worried about this at all. But they make the illusion like it does just to be like, look, he took one salary. Like, fuck out of here. The governor of Illinois didn't take a salary cut. He didn't take a shit though. Why? Because he's a billionaire. You know, it's not nothing noble to give you. Now, if he gave up he gave up a pay cut, you living below poverty line. You really took a hit. It's different.
I mean, now I'm judging him off of some Robin Hood theory. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, did I earn my money or not? Did I do my job or not? My job says that I'm guaranteed this plus these metrics. If he did the job, he earned the money. Like, why am I penalizing him? Because, because you made this gesture. Like, I could have still just been greedy and took all. I cared about none of y'all.
Right.
You're not going to get a piece. You're not going to get though. No one cares just the same. And you not taking a salary didn't give us more dividends. So, because him doing this shit didn't get no extra money for real. They put all this was like, what, 10 cents a shit? So what, it's going to go up to 12 now?
Well, it never said that you was gonna. It never said that he did that so that they can get more money or whatever. It said to make sure that they got what's owed to them. That's what it was about.
When the vote came to us, when the vote came to us, there was a bunch of people. Whether we wanted him to take a salary, whether you wanted to take a salary, and this, that, and the third, and if you don't take, where does this money go? And they were like, oh, well, the shareholders dividends of the 0.000. Everybody was like, fuck that, but you don't need everybody voted the way they did. They told him to not take a salary. He didn't like us saying that shit there. They're trying to actuality was a vote. If you did it on you to just walk away. But like I said, the salary is not a big deal. No one cares. It's not. But you're penalizing him by stating that either. It's just
who goes through a vote? Who goes through a vote to have their salary reduced 40% and then still stay with the company? Like realistically, who does that? If he didn't initiate that
CEOs
himself.
that did it. I can name CEOs that did it right now.
Okay, now
Elon Musk at one point. And then damn, I always got to do it. But yeah, I knew that was coming because I told him he couldn't look it up, so I was waiting for him to get back. I can tell you the CEO of the National Aging Department of CEO of actually took a pay cut at one point.
I can't
Countless
make out none of what you're
states.
saying in these companies.
The governor of almost every did it without a salary at one point. Special. It's a media, the PR about, except for people that don't know better. Oh shit!
So
He did something.
so are these people
Salary.
so are these people that willingly did that, or were they voted
They don't
to
have a
do
choice.
that? That's
The
all.
ones
That's all we're
Yeah,
talking about
the
is
military.
willingly did it and who was voted to do it.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't get that's what I can
Well, because of the fact that it's like half of
Before
what I
it
was able to
happens,
make out sound like you talking about
no, because before it happens, they're gonna force it to happen anyway. So it ain't really a real decision. It's already been down and said, nigga, this is what the fuck you got to do. And then it comes out like it's being somebody else's choice, or the decision was made before the door.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, man. I'm just looking at it from a logical standpoint. Nobody, I honestly really don't see nobody that's willing to take a salary and leave, like willing to take a low cut, a pay cut. I'm sorry, and leave. That doesn't logically make sense when you did it on your own. And why would anybody stay if they were voted to take that pay cut if you didn't want it?
Why
would they stay?
Make $41 million a year? So I don't care what y'all voted me. They could vote director ever.
Okay.
And about
I make 40 million. Okay.
Yeah.
But if
They can
I
vote me up to work.
but if
tomorrow.
I don't take this pay cut, but if I don't make this pay cut, now I'm looking at 200 million. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was to Mike's point, if I was greedy and didn't care, I don't care what y'all think. I'm gonna get mines.
The powers that be is gonna be like, all right, now I'll you off this board altogether and put a new. You'll be forgotten, just like you was stopped. So you can see it.
All right, so I mean, we can talk about this for hours and hours, and we can finally find a time where we can look up these more in-depth statistics and people that you're talking about. But saying that's definitely another episode to really like delve deep into that. So let's kind of like go back into the chamber and see what else Mike got in the gun.
All right, so needless to say, the after the exchange, I actually really like the exchange. I personally am a fan of discourse when people are actually bringing something of value to the table because it adds perspective. It's like literally when you sit there and you listen to these things as they're being said, it makes you think about a lot of things. And just as far as where I was going with the conversation, we look at situations based off of A, where we are, and B, where our aspirations are to be. If you have aspirations to be the boss, then you know that this is just a short stay wherever you at. Obviously, people who have boss ambitions, they work 160 hours to avoid working 80. So I mean, it's just really one of those situations to where it's just I guess you could say cults of personality or your thought process, how you see things. Tim Cook was merely an example. There are a myriad of other examples. Obviously, you can go through almost any Walton, any Walmart recipient. You can go through anybody if you really wanted to. And you can find anybody on that top 500 list and start applying this. Obviously, the extremely mega wealthy people are the outliers. There are a lot of people in between who are super successful, but in scale of those of the names that you would name, the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musks, the whomever, the Koch brothers, whoever you want to throw up there as like your top tier highest earners, that's what most people's eyes are. But there are many companies to where you got people earning $15 to $100 million every single year, and we don't know who these people are at all. And that's the beauty, because they could walk down the street and you wouldn't even know that it's like these people can buy and sell your ass. But in essence, the one thing that just made me think about when I was talking about the valuing of your work, how sometimes it's busier, sometimes it's not busy, but you exchanging time for dollars to where you are opting out to get paid the same no matter what it is that you do. I just was trying to raise the thought process of really looking at a situation and saying to yourself, what is my time worth? When is the last time you sat down and asked yourself, what is my time worth? When I take a second out of my day to sit here and do this, to do this for an hour out of your day, 3-4 times a week, what is it worth? Can you put a dollar amount on it? And if so, what would it be? If you in your designs, your clothes, your music, you and your company that you built from scratch, you and the government entity that you are a part of, that you helped build from nothing, that you negotiated a $15 million contract for. Give me a dollar value on what your time that you invested in those things were worth. Can you think of one? Can you just right now off the top of your head and say to yourself, yeah, well, all those years, all that time, all that effort, all that writing and fine tuning, all that contract, all that negotiating, yeah, $5 million, and I'm good. Any one of y'all got a number for that?
Nah, I can't come up with that off the top of my head.
I mean, if we looking at it from a real industry standpoint, then your number is basically predicated on the amount of profit that your
I'm not
company.
talking about an evaluation. I'm talking about the stuff that money can't buy, which is your time, your tears, the explanation that you had to give to your wife when money was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Those years that you didn't know if you was gonna make Christmas or not. What are those? What's the dollar amount on all the years that you had to go from the extreme highs to the extreme lows before you leveled?
Okay, that's a different question. Okay.
It's the same question, just refurbished. But that's what I'm looking at. When I say my time and my pay is consistent regardless of what the outcome is, versus a situation where I'm going to make a large sum of money in this period of time, and I might go this stretch to where I'm making barely. So I got to budget this out, because if I don't budget this out properly, I don't know what the next 4, 5, 6 months is going to bring.
Mm-hmm.
What dollar amount can you put on the time that you had to invest into developing the formula to maintain a consistent income, the skills that you learned about budgeting, about marketing, about putting yourself out there to earn, about beating your competition out for opportunities? Can you put a price on that?
We would like to say we could, but you don't get that time back that you missed with your kids, or it's really 100 million, a billion. Like what you gonna say? It's like
I mean, everybody would love, to put $1 billion on that.
yeah, right.
But again, kind of going back to, and I know that you wasn't, speaking in the realm of evaluation, but you still have to take into account all of the research, all of the tears, all of the sweat, all of the lost hours of sleep, all of the not being away from your family, it still has to come down to what you are bringing in that is going to equate to the value of what you will put a price on that. So you going through all of these trials and tribulations and doing all this, what is it bringing in to endure all of this? You have to count that. So if you're going through all of that and the only thing that you're able to bring in is 300, 400, 500, 600,000, is that worth it? You really got to think about that. What you bring in has to be a major part of that. Putting in sweat and all them tears and it's very minimal outlook, I don't think that's worth it. But anybody will want to put $1 billion on their dream.
But you don't know until you get there, right?
That's true.
That's true. I actually agree with that. So, gentlemen, we are 1 hour and 55 seconds into this podcast. So, any closeout statements for today? 2023, the first 17 days have taught us a lot of discord we had in here today, a lot of discussions, a lot of different various topics that we talked about. Very pleased with the fact that you guys are just in the spirit of conversation today. And as always, I love Marvin's fire. As an Apple user, we are real fans. We like, I ain't gonna say that. You know, we like Cubs fans. It don't matter if we losing, we still gonna ride hard for them.
I can't
And that
relate.
and that was the point I was making. Like the level of loyalty, regardless, is still there. Y'all ecosystem is extraordinary. Samsung ain't got no ecosystem. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
Because Sam, the only
It's not there.
Because the only proprietary Samsung has is Samsung. It's
That's
like
it.
Android. Everybody has Android. Android is a whore, and it's basically like if Android was the stripper, Samsung is just the best strip club. It's just the most aesthetic strip club. It's like everybody got it.
Right. So Samsung is the actual. I mean, Apple is the actual establishment, and Android are the dancers.
If I had to give it in a provocative sense, yeah, it's like literally.
Kind of spinning off what you talking about. We kind of went there.
Yeah, I mean,
we
You know, like get an example. Talk about
we kind of went
I mean,
there.
yeah, because
you said
the thing
tone.
is that Samsung is like a counterculture to a counterculture because Apple is a counterculture to Microsoft. And then when it merged into a different lane, it did something that was revolutionary. It was the first one to bring you MP3 music to a device that you could walk around with that wasn't a CD.
1,000 songs in your pocket. That was the greatest advertisement ever.
You know, it was the first thing to bring you an opportunity to be able to talk on your phone, and after you get off the phone, to just go directly into your playlist. You ain't got to worry about the music skipping. You don't have to worry about. You can work out. You could do. It literally revolutionized and it created whole other industries. So, like, it made other industries huge just by being knockoffs of the industry. You can only be innovative for so long. And I think that to Marvin's point is like Steve Jobs was an innovator. He was solely about the tech. He wore the same thing every single day to keep his mind from focusing on tedious details like what type of clothes he was going to put on, just so that he could invest more time and more mental space into application. He cared about the tech. And for those people who followed Apple, like you could say the old school Apple people versus the new school Apple people, the old school Apple people, we loved Apple because of what it did. So if you were a musician, if you were a digital artist, if you were anything of that likeness, to where there was that time period to where only opportunity that you had to use those programs were Apple. I remember the year that DigiDesign sold to M Audio. When the whole Empowered thing came into play to where
Yeah, I
you could
remember
finally
that.
start using Pro Tools on Windows. To me, that was the beginning of the end of Pro Tools because the brand was consistent with Apple. You didn't have one without the other. So now when you take that away, it doesn't cheapen Apple because Apple is still proven system. But now Pro Tools is getting hoarded out. Could have been a money move, could have been any situation, but it didn't. It did not retain the value. So now when you put it over here in the area to where I have the Cubase, the new Windows, the Cakewalks,
The FLs and all that. Yeah.
the FL Studios. Now when I put it over here to where I got all this other crap that it doesn't hold the same prestige. It's like it had that one little bubble was like, oh, Pro Tools is at our disposal. But what good is Pro Tools on a Sony Vaio that cost you $300?
Right.
It's still not going. Pro Tools. This is when people in project studios came to the realization that it was not Pro Tools that was making your music sound good. They thought that Pro Tools made your music sound good. Like, no, it was the engineer. It was the mixology. It was people who had actual real skills in the real studios who understood 20% noise cancellation that made your music sound good. It had nothing to do with the program. The program, in my opinion, has always been subpar. They've always had great plugins, but outside of the great plugins, in my humble opinion, Pro Tools has been obsolete since 2000. But because of the fact that it was still Apple exclusive, it had prestige. And once people got it over here to Windows and realized, wait, this is a ruse. This is crap. Why would I do this when I could be doing this? I could use Adobe Audition over here and I can get the same quality recording and do it in half the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was cheaper.
And I could just download it for this. And I don't have to go and get these bomb factories and this wave bundle and all this other crap. I don't have to pay these additional a la carte fees
Yeah. Expensive
to do what this
wave
program does. Right? I
diamonds
have
and
to pay
all
for
that. Man.
$150. So you look at qualities, like I can understand why Apple users that come from that older school of thought are so disgruntled because of the fact that we bought it because of what it was, not necessarily what it did, because of what it was. We knew for a fact that if I had an Apple phone and I got my Apple tablet, right now I'm on my Mac Mini. If my phone ring, I can answer from my watch. My phone is over there charging. My tablet is right behind me. I can put my Bluetooth in, and whatever button I click on, whatever device I click, I'm able to answer my phone and continue what it is that I'm doing without missing a beat. I can sit here and FaceTime with my daughter and it won't interrupt this stream, not a lick. That's what we bought it for. Because the hardware and the software was made to work with each other. It is the original in sync. It's the synchronized swimming of technology. What's in my phone is in my computer, is in my tablet, is in my phone, consistent. It's not an LG this and a Sony that and a whatever the fuck brand this is and a Samsung this. It's all made to work together.
We started off like that though.
That's what the brand was. That's why the brand was loved. So you had your iPod, you had your iPhone. So the iPhone came around, like, wait a minute, I can do 2 in 1. Get the fuck out of here. Look at you go.
You said iPod, and I had to dig in my pull up the iPod real fast because it ain't been getting no better.
Bro, I still got the classic. I still got the one.
I wish I still had that one. That's
I might need to borrow that for this
The
trip.
one where you had the wheel.
yeah, the wheel. It's a classic joint.
But this is what I'm saying. Tell me what classic Samsung memories you got. I got better memories with HTC than I had with Samsung. I feel
I
like
do too.
Samsung just capitalized off of a dying market.
Hell, even before the HTC, the Palm Pre, I got memories with that. That was the first phone I ever hacked.
Hold on, what was that? The T-Mobile wing, the
Oh yeah, the
flip
wing.
joint?
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Joint.
we came up in such a beautiful era of tech. And I
Yeah.
was explaining this to this guy at work the other day. I'm like, the gifts that our children have is the fact that they got tech when it was perfected.
Right.
We had tech during the time that it was coming up. So the
Yeah.
cell phone revolution, whenever I explain to somebody about business and how business really works, I use the cell phone revolution as my example of how it worked. Going from the pager to the two-way to the Primeco phone, the Motorola's that had one ringtone, you didn't have a screen, to when caller ID was introduced, the car phone. It's like I can show you the series of tech revolutions to when you had a Cadillac and you had the North Star system inside of the Cadillac so you could answer the phone inside the car without having a little thing attached to it. You look at the cellular revolution and telecommunication revolution to where it's like, oh well, shit, we got the Bennett plan. You got 500 minutes. Oh, no problem. You can pay me $60 and you get 900 minutes. You know what? Don't even worry about it. We free out the 9. Oh, y'all free out the 9? Bet. Don't worry
We
about it.
free after
Well, shit, y'all
7.
ain't got service everywhere, so we gonna get the service over here. Oh, okay, cool. Well, we know that we can't compete with them as far as nationwide service, so we gonna get them free after 7. Ball drop. Now we get to the mergers and acquisitions and stuff. Say, hey, Singular, AT&T, if we merge together, we become a powerhouse. Hey, next Sprint, we boom together, we become a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So now you start getting these subsidiaries and stuff like that. Hey, Virgin Mobile, come on, sign with us. Hey, Ant Mobile, come on, sign with us. Come on, hook up with us. Use our towers. This, and this. So make us stronger. Verizon, AT&T, they're like, hey man, fuck all of them guys. We already got the game on lock because we own 40% each of the bandwidth. So now you got the big three because T-Mobile then took up Sprint.
There you go.
They kicked Boost out. It's like, we don't need y'all no more because we big enough to we no longer need y'all to be involved. But
Right.
you watch the revolution happen in your life in real time. So there's no reason that any millennial should be failing that business. Just look at the cell phones. Look at the little Primeco alien and just watch. Go to when you first seen the Geico lizard or the Gecko lizard when he first got introduced into the scene like 20 years ago, when you seen that it's so easy this caveman can do it, when Geico was running the game in auto insurance commercials, when they showed y'all marketing 101.
Yep.
And look at the sales. Look at when Apple was doing what they was doing. Apple didn't have to sit themselves next to a Microsoft anything because they already created a brand identity that we are the counterculture. Fuck them. They don't even exist.
iPhone
It's
4
us and it's them. Gang. It's blood to Crips. What you grinding with?
and Apple's iPhone 4 was the most sold phone in history.
That was their.
That's why I'm with Apple, because I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I came back to Apple with a 4S, and I've been Apple gang since. The Apple 5 was a flop. The Apple XR XS series was a flop. But you tell me that you didn't drop 11, 12 series of phone and you only had 2 bad? I mean, hell, even Windows had Windows Vista.
Oh man, that was so trash.
Everybody get it wrong once.
Yeah, that was
God, that was trash.
horrible.
They gave us 7 immediately.
One of the best Apple platforms that we had was Tiger OS 10X4. That was around for like 5 years before they gave you a brand new one. And then you had Leopard and Snow Leopard. That was around for a long time before they started upgrading from there.
Yeah.
So now you got 10.15. If you see a bunch of consistent upgrades, it's because either they're trying to compete or because they don't work and they're unsustainable and easily hacked. Windows 98. You said what?
That's the market now, and you can kind of see that same type of constant updating and all that, even within the video game industry now, where they're putting out broken software, they're putting out broken games, and they just update it and patch it and fix it as they move along.
Yeah,
that's what's happening now.
But you also see an a la carte community.
Yeah, you can have the same system and they'll just send you a new upgrade so they could take 5 to 6 years to build another system and just keep upgrading the
Same
console.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you paying for special characters and stuff like that. You got to pay money, or you got to work for years of playing the same game over and over again to unlock characters that these people, they got this basketball player and stuff. They got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and they just paid $100 to get Kareem Abdul, but you sitting over here playing for a year to finally try to unlock him. And then when you unlock him at basic level, and then you got to work him up to be.
You got to work him up, yeah.
You got to work him up to be great. So now I got a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with the Monstars basketball. Anyway, guys, moral of the story is there is no moral of the story. Life is perspective. Whatever your perspective is, you come into the situation trying to decide what works best for you, and then you spend your life trying to figure it out. And then once you figure it out, then you realize that you haven't figured anything out because there's more work to be done. So if you aspire to be a billionaire, it don't stop at $1 billion. You got to make several billion, because you're going to lose a lot of that in either lawsuits or acquisitions or whatever the situations they may be. You never actually get to a place to where you are satisfied in one statistical realm. And if you are, I would hate to be you. Close out statements.
Agree to disagree. In a nutshell.
I agree.
Pay it.
I got no qualms.
Pay your taxes. Be upstanding citizens. Go to
Hey,
school.
tax.
Yeah.
I can't be.
Stay
I'm
in
trying to be like Doc.
Yeah, in court, losing. He ain't Donald Trump or black Donald Trump. He'd have been under the jail a long time.
Yeah, sure would have.
Yeah.
They'd have changed the tax laws just to lock him up.
On the real, they would have definitely. He would have he'd have been Bill Cotton by the pussy. I'm telling you, it'd have been over with. It's over with.
All right, gentlemen, y'all have a good night. Go put the kids to bed. Go make the wives happy, whatever the circumstances may be. Thank y'all for another exciting episode of The Extraordinary Men. Anybody who has tuned into this episode, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Visit us on the Facebook, like our Facebook page. And each one of us have our individual handles here where you may be able to find us on various social media platforms. I am Phil Jones. I am the host of The Extraordinary Men, and these are The Extraordinary Men. I'm just here to be the vocal point that lets you know what they think when they don't want to speak. Peace.